The scorching apocalypse arrives. The world falls into paralysis. No one can survive this catastrophic disaster. The noisy sounds give me a headache. I suddenly open my eyes and find myself still lying in a cramped, crowded room. The scenes in the dream were too bizarre. A temperature of 80 degrees, lasting for 3 months without end. At first, water just appeared and changed. Later, rivers dried up. Groundwater was completely drained. The entire world stopped functioning. To survive, humans had to go out to search for drinking water. But unexpectedly, the water I risked my life to bring back was all given away by my adoptive family to outsiders. In the end, my adoptive parents sold me for 2 bottles of water to a pervert, becoming a tool for their abuse. Thinking of the endless torment in the dream, I break out in a cold sweat. In the dream, I endured the scorching heat every day, searching for water for my adoptive family. But in the end, because I refused to share water with outsiders, I was accused of being a selfish, ungrateful wretch. But if I'm an ungrateful wretch, what does that make them? My adoptive parents raised their own children, healthy and plump, but beat and scolded me, their bought adoptive daughter. As for that pair of siblings, they were utterly hypocritical, always using others' things to show off their own kindness. The events in the dream, though bizarre, felt so real. But the heat wave that's lasted a week now forces one to stay vigilant. I walk out of the storage room. My gaze sweeps over the lottery ticket on the table, thinking of the events in the dream. My breathing steadies. If I remember correctly, the lottery ticket my adoptive father Sun Jingming bought was 1 digit away from the 30 million jackpot, just one final number off. I take a photo of the lottery ticket. Whether the events in the dream are real or not, I'll know soon enough. Evening. I lie on my narrow little bed, clutching 9 lottery tickets with different final digits. As the lowest member of this household, I have no right to watch TV. I can only strain my ears to listen to the sounds outside. I take a deep breath. A layer of sweat forms on my forehead. Soon, the first prize numbers are announced. Winning a jackpot of 30 million. After taxes, 24 million remains. At that moment, the tension I'd been holding for so long finally relaxes completely. The night passes. Early morning, just past 5 a.m. The door to my makeshift room is kicked open. Somehow, my so-called brother rudely demands I hurry up and make breakfast. I quietly get up, go to the kitchen and prepare breakfast, then plan to head out. As I'm about to leave, my adoptive mother, Zhang Shufan, stops me. She transfers 200 yuan to me. It's too hot out. On your way back, buy an ice cream cake for your brother and sister. Don't waste the leftover money. Bring it back to me. I nod obediently and walk out the door. When I was young, I used to cry and ask why I never got a share of the food. It was always for my younger siblings. That excuse lasted for 20 years. As I grew up, I finally understood. It was simply because they didn't love me back then, when they couldn't have children. Sun Jingming and his wife bought me from traffickers. But just a few months later, Zhang Shufan got pregnant, with twins, no less. From that moment on, my treatment at home plummeted. I'm grateful they took me in. But I can never forgive them for selling me. For just 2 bottles of water, I rush to the bank. And soon, 24 million is deposited into my account. I don't dare wander around outside. After buying the cake, I head straight home. At night, laughter from the family fills the living room. I lie on my bed, carefully planning how to use this money. Some of it should be spent, some saved. After all, when the scorching apocalypse ends, humans will need to return to normal life. As for how to save it, I need to think more. But first, I need to rent a house and stock up on supplies. The next morning, as I head out, Zhang Shufan scolds me for not finding a job and just wandering aimlessly, to avoid arousing suspicion. I have to endure over an hour of her complaints. The moment I step out the door, I take a deep breath. This couple did raise me, after all. But years of slaving away like an ox or horse have already repaid that debt. At the real estate agency, the agent introduces me to properties. I look at rows of 2-story villas. My gaze settles on the last one, fully furnished with appliances and furniture, ready to move in immediately. I sign a 1-year contract. The agent takes me to the villa and leaves. I quickly contact a renovation team. Originally, I just wanted to coat the walls with heat-resistant paint and install a few solar panels. But unexpectedly, I stumble upon a pleasant surprise. The renovation worker says there's an air raid shelter underground, likely left over from the past. The owner didn't mention it, so the agent probably didn't know either. I look at the dark, cool air seeping out of the entrance. My face shows no expression. The worker thinks I'm scared and offers to go down with me to check it out. I nod, suppressing the joy in my heart. Once inside, I'm even more delighted. What air raid shelter? This is practically a free air-conditioned room. I can't imagine how comfortable it'll be to hide here when the scorching heat arrives. The shelter is massive, hundreds of square meters, but the walls seem a bit damp. The worker notices my hesitation and tells me not to worry. This is common. Coating it with lime will fix it. It definitely won't leak. That afternoon, a few workers coat the shelter with lime water and carefully place desiccants. The shelter must be nearly 100 years old. Hardly anyone would know about it. This way, my safety is greatly enhanced. In my excitement, I give the worker an extra bonus. As the sky starts to darken, I quickly send the worker off and hurry back home. On the way, I think about how to best use the 10 million plus funds. After making dinner for the family, I lie on my small bed, planning the supplies I need to buy. The temperature outside has already risen to 38 degrees. But in previous years, it occasionally reached around 40 degrees. So no one is paying much attention this time. People aren't used to stockpiling supplies. But having experienced the scorching apocalypse in my past life, I know that in a week, temperatures will skyrocket. Daytime highs could even reach 50 degrees. Far exceeding what the human body can endure, the limit of tolerable heat. But this is only the scorching apocalypse I experienced, not the absolute limit of the heat. Water and power outages, rivers drying up, a basin of water left in the living room would evaporate halfway in a single day. Thinking of those events from my past life, I purse my lips, feeling even more compelled to prepare. There's still so much to do. With so many people in the villa complex, it's nearly impossible to stockpile supplies without attracting attention. And once my supplies are exposed, endless trouble will follow. When the time comes, I can only try to minimize the risk of being discovered. First, use renovation as an excuse to mix supplies with renovation materials and bring them in. Then, leave some supplies out in the open in the villa. So when looters come, they'll take those. And the underground shelter will stay safe. In my past life, even 3 months later, the scorching apocalypse hadn't ended. I don't know when this disaster will end. So I can only stockpile as much as possible. I make a long shopping list for myself. First, food. When it comes to stockpiling food, many people's first thought might be rice and flour. But rice and flour are just raw materials. Cooking them into food requires fuel throughout the process. Plus, rice and flour easily get damp and attract pests. Stockpiling too much of them isn't cost-effective. So I only buy 500 g of pre-washed rice, and 200 g of flour, vermicelli and rice noodles, and potato starch noodles, 200 g each. As for various instant foods, I don't need to overthink those. Instant noodles, self-heating hot pots, self-heating rice, 200 boxes each, ham, beef jerky, chocolate, biscuits, 8 treasure porridge and various nuts, also bought in bulk. The scorching apocalypse's end is unknown. Just to be safe, foods with extra long shelf lives need to be included too. Canned lunch meat, compressed biscuits, canned beef, cured sausages, preserved fruit cans and various beverages. Fresh foods can be bought in smaller quantities, but other supplies must be enough for at least 2 years. Water is much simpler to stockpile. 500 cases of bottled water, 500 barrels of drinking water, and I also order 100 large capacity water storage barrels to fill with tap water in advance. With the most critical supplies secured, next, I need to prepare daily necessities. Various clothing, bed sheets, bedding, disposable underwear, toiletries, sanitary pads and toilet paper, and the especially important wet wipes. I plan to stockpile 100 cases first, to use for washing my face and body later. The next morning, the sun rises just after 4 a.m. Blinding sunlight streams through the window, stinging my eyes. I let out a sigh. The room is stuffy and hot. Every morning, my clothes feel like they're sticking to my body. My phone shows it's 41 degrees today. This heat is unsettling. But knowing it'll get even hotter in the future, I reluctantly drag myself out of bed. Zhang Shufan is awake too. Seeing me obediently head to the kitchen to prepare breakfast, she doesn't say anything. After breakfast, I head out. Though the villa has solar panels installed, in extreme heat, no one can guarantee whether they'll still function properly. I buy 2 silent generators and 100 cases of matching motor oil for backup, 2 air conditioners and 2 freezers, a gas stove for cooking, 50 cases of canned natural gas and alcohol blocks. I also buy a baseball bat, an axe, and a wolf's head for self-defense. Finally, I go to the pharmacy to buy common medications, especially Huaxiang Jingqi liquid, cooling balm and cooling patches, stockpiling 100 cases of each. In the afternoon, I stay home to sign for various deliveries. The shelter's entrance is under the stairs, beneath the floor of a small room, covered with a carpet. Under normal circumstances, it's hard to spot. To avoid revealing its location, I have the delivery workers unload the supplies in the living room and leave. All the supplies are personally moved into the shelter by me. But there's too much stuff. Even after dark, I've only moved a fifth of it. I check my phone. It's full of messages from Zhang Shufan demanding why I haven't come back to cook dinner. Thinking of facing her endless nagging if I return, I make up an excuse to brush her off. With the cool breeze from the air conditioner, I finally get a good night's sleep. When I wake up the next day, it's already noon. The sun outside is at its strongest. The first thing I feel when I open the curtains is blinding light. I glance at my phone. 43 degrees, 2 degrees higher than yesterday. Opening the door, a wave of heat hits me in the face, as if it's going to melt me. Recalling my past life's experiences, my heart can't help but panic. They say a cunning rabbit has 3 burrows. The villa's shelter is well hidden. But what if something goes wrong? I don't dare take the risk, so I keep moving supplies into the shelter, while searching for other nearby rentals. Available properties. Luckily, my luck holds. I rent a ground floor unit with a basement, right across from the Sun family's building. I pay a year's rent up front. At night, when no one's around, I spend another 100,000 yuan to buy supplies for this place. The next morning, I run into the neighbor grandma downstairs at the Sun family's building. She's shocked at why I'm buying so much stuff. I smile and explain that the weather's too hot lately. I don't feel safe without stockpiling supplies. I lead the supermarket delivery staff into the building, running into a few familiar neighbors on the way. I give them the same explanation. They don't press further, but their faces show mocking expressions. Stockpiling so much stuff just because of the heat? Isn't that something only a fool would do? Haha, to make them realize that my adoptive family has a ton of supplies, I deliberately chose to return during rush hour when people are off work. Let them laugh. Soon enough, they'll come begging at our door due to water and power outages. In my past life, my adoptive family accused me of being a selfish, ungrateful wretch. In this life, I'll proactively open the door to neighbors seeking help. Kind and beautiful? I can do that too. Early in the morning, I hear Sunhao constantly complaining about the heat. He's already dirty and lazy. Every summer, he feels sticky and miserable. And now he's hit with this extreme heat wave. At that moment, a new message pops up in the resident group chat. According to the weather forecast, temperatures in our city will rise over the next week. The high may break 50 degrees. Citizens are advised to take heatstroke prevention measures. Seeing the words 50 degrees, everyone's vision darkens. 40 degrees was already bad enough. Can people even survive 50-degree heat? Then the property management sends another notice. Due to the extreme heat, the community supermarket will close starting tomorrow. Zhang Shufan can't help but wonder why the supermarket is closing. Sun Zhengming, for once, shows me a rare bit of kindness. Good thing Wan bought enough supplies in advance. Otherwise, our family might have been stuck without supplies. I lower my head and smile faintly, saying nothing. In my past life, I braved 45-degree heat to buy 2 cases of bottled water from the supermarket. My skin got sunburned on the way back. And Sun Zhengming scolded me for being selfish, for refusing to share water with neighbors. A knife doesn't hurt until it cuts you. They'll never understand the pain. In this life, I've stockpiled so many supplies in advance, and let more neighbors know that our house is full of supplies. Will their family still act so selfless like in my past life? The temperature keeps climbing. By 11 a.m., the outdoor temperature has risen to 46 degrees. The air conditioner at home has long since stopped cooling. I'm cooking in the kitchen, when suddenly the range hood lets out a buzz and stops working. As the weather heats up, people get more irritable. And this power outage drives Sunhao to curse loudly in the living room. It's too hot to live. At that moment, the sound of an ambulance comes from downstairs. I walk to the window to look. Another person with heatstroke being taken away. Since the power outage, complaints in the resident group chat have been flooding in one after another. Under the glaring sunlight, the ground seems warped from the heat. A young man in a property management uniform faints from heatstroke and is burned by the scorching ground. The temperature continues to rise. Daytime temperatures have reached a terrifying 55 degrees. Even nighttime temperatures stay above 42 degrees. With every breath, the air sucked into my lungs carries a burning heat. I lie on my small bed, too hot to sleep. So I open my phone. It's constantly updating, with news of people dying from the heat across the region. In the community, people keep getting taken away by ambulances due to heat stroke. Someone posts data showing that in just a few hours, hospitals have admitted nearly 1,000 heat stroke cases. These are just the ones found and sent to the hospital in time. As for the undiscovered bodies, they'll rot quickly in this heat. To prevent this situation, the property checks on residents' conditions every morning and evening. That day, Sunhao's classmate Wang Ling comes to our door, red-faced, asking for help. Because her family ran out of drinking water, Sunhao's heart softens instantly. To maintain her image as generous and kind, Zhang Shufan hurries to grab water and drinks from the kitchen. Wang Ling is clever. Immediately showering Zhang Shufan with flattery and praise, making Zhang Shufan beam with delight. Sun Zhengming frowns slightly. But he's too prideful to show displeasure or ask her to leave. I stare at the sunburn on Wang Ling's face. My lips curve slightly upward, and I say, "Hey, is your eye sunburned? I remember Jai has a bottle of sunscreen, right? Hurry and get it for Xiaoling to use." Sun Jai hears this, and instantly gets upset, warily saying it can't be given to her. Sun Hao accuses her of being selfish and lacking compassion. I watch coldly from the sidelines. This pair of siblings, such a familiar scene, such familiar words. Sun Zhengming, as the head of the family, steps in, sternly reprimanding her, telling her to get the sunscreen. Sun Jai doesn't dare argue. But as she turns, she glares at me fiercely. That evening, to comfort Sun Jai, Zhang Shufan deliberately skips me when passing out bread and ham. I don't mind. I return to my room and lock the door. Just moments ago, a notification popped up on my phone. The surveillance system detected someone entering the villa. To be precise, not sneaking in, but a group of people brazenly breaking in. The villa's cameras have tracking functions. Any moving object detected triggers an alert to my phone. I quickly identify the intruders, their appearances. Several men in property management uniforms. The living room is filled with various supplies, over a dozen cases of bottled water alone, along with rice, flour, oil, and various daily necessities. The group takes over half an hour to clear out all the supplies in the living room. After the property management people leave, a few more shadows slip into the villa under the cover of night, but they all leave empty-handed. Watching the supplies I worked so hard to stockpile get taken, I actually feel relieved. As the saying goes, don't fear a thief stealing, fear them keeping you in their sights. Now that the villa's supplies have been stolen in front of so many people, the neighbors should pay much less attention to my villa from now on. Reports say yesterday's temperature broke a new record, reaching an unprecedented 76 degrees. Massive wildfires have erupted across global forests, burning for a week without being extinguished. Over half of the forests have turned to ash. I know. Temperatures will keep rising over the next month. And this still isn't the limit of this scorching apocalypse. I grow increasingly anxious. In my past life, I wasn't prepared. My phone lost power early on, so I had no idea how dire the situation outside had become. Today's high is 56 degrees. The low is 46 degrees. If temperatures keep rising, how high will they go? 80 degrees? 100 degrees? Thinking about it makes me dizzy and nauseous. The temperature keeps climbing. Clearly, it's reaching the limit of what humans can endure. I quickly down a bottle of Huxiang Jingqi liquid and feel a bit better. Outside, Zhang Shufan is complaining. Why so many people these past few days are coming to our house to borrow supplies? Sun Zhengming is equally puzzled. I can't help but sneer. In this life, I'll make you taste the pain I suffered in my past life. The show is just beginning. Sun Zhengming and his wife plan to take the siblings to the underground parking garage to escape the heat. Before leaving, Zhang Shufan warns me not to sneak any food from the kitchen. Under their watchful eyes, I've endured for so long. Wasn't it all for today? I walk to the kitchen. All the household supplies are here now. I send a message to the resident group chat from my phone. Those without food, come to my house. We have extra supplies to share with you. Soon, several households show up with their families. I generously hand out food. When Sun Zhengming and the others return, the living room is littered with trash. Zhang Shufan's face darkens. I cautiously say, "Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I just saw how pitiful they were and couldn't help but share some food with them. You won't blame me, right?" Zhang Shufan is stunned, clearly not expecting me to say this. Sun Zhengming knows at this moment hoarding so many supplies draws attention, so he softens his tone, saying we're all neighbors and shouldn't ruin relationships with empty words. I vaguely hear someone praising how beautiful and kind I am, using others' things to build my own reputation. So this is what it feels like to play the saint. The next morning, I'm startled awake by Zhang Shufan's scream. Opening the door, I find the living room filled with people again. I immediately understand. Sun Jai is the vainest person. She must have seen all the praise I got yesterday and decided to copy me. Looking at the man, Cheng Lin, standing side by side with Sun Jai, he's the one from my past life who bought me for 2 bottles of water. Now, seeing how close he is with Sun Jai, could they have known each other all along? Or was my fate in my past life orchestrated by that wretch Sun Jai? This group eats and takes whatever they want. When they leave the Sun family with just a few bottles of water and instant noodles. After everyone's gone, Sun Zhengming is furious and scolds Sun Jai. Sun Jiai retorts that I let people come yesterday to our house as guests. Why is she the only one being scolded? Well done. That was a clever move to shift the blame. To avoid trouble, I volunteer to go out and look for more supplies. Sun Jiai glares at me with a sinister look, her eyes filled with a hatred I can't comprehend. I'm puzzled. Why does she hate me? She's the one who's been pampered all her life. I've slaved away for this family without complaint, and what did I get in return? I ignore her and turn to leave. Saying I'm going to stockpile supplies is just an excuse. The real reason is that the supplies are nearly depleted, and I'm looking for a reason to leave. But I can't return to the villa now. It's daytime. Too many eyes around. It might expose the existence of the shelter. Waves of heat surge into my body. Every pore feels like it's about to burst. The stinging sensation grows stronger. By the time I reach the entrance of the opposite building, I'm drenched in sweat from the heat. Back at the newly rented place, I lie on the sofa, taking half a day to recover. By evening, Zhang Shufan, impatient, calls me, asking where I am. I laugh and say, guess. Then hang up immediately, to keep tabs on the Sun family's movements. I installed hidden cameras. Watching the footage of a fight over a bottle of water, with the Sun siblings beating each other bloody, I can't help but curl my lips into a smile. Food and water are now extremely scarce. Faced with two equally beloved children, what choices will they make? I lie on the sofa, the air conditioner humming, yet still unable to dispel the stifling heat in the room. The outdoor temperature has reached 78 degrees. The concrete ground is warped from the heat. A WeChat message comes through on my phone. It's Zhang Shufan, boasting about their family's spoils, while cursing me, telling me never to come back. At noon, a loud bang suddenly comes from outside. Following the sound, I look out and see the glass windows of a top-floor unit in the opposite building shattered from the heat. My heart tightens. The temperature keeps rising. Lower floor windows will soon be affected too. I need to move to the villa area as soon as possible. I check the surveillance. The villa's front door is wide open. The supplies inside have long been cleared out. It seems everyone assumes there's nothing left worth scavenging. In the afternoon, Zhang Shufan sends another WeChat voice message. Wanwan, it's so hot out now. Your dad and I are really worried about you. Why don't you come back home? This old hag's attitude changed so fast. Did something happen? I check the surveillance. The kitchen they used to boast about their supplies is now completely empty. Zhang Shufan is staring at her phone. Sun Jingming, bruised and battered, slumps on the sofa. Next to him lies Sun Hao, unconscious or worse. Their supplies were taken that fast? Checking the surveillance playback, I finally understand. Over this period, Sun Jiai has become the lowest in the Sun family's food chain, getting the least food every day. So this afternoon, she brought Changlin and a few thugs, and stole all the Sun family's supplies. I smile. This couple got what they deserved. It's entirely their own doing. Zhang Shufan keeps sending me messages. All sorts of insincere words thrown together. The phrase, treating everyone equally, stands out. I can't help but laugh. So she knows she's been biased all along. Then why hasn't she changed in all these years? I send her a photo of my supplies and say I'm not coming back. I've got food and drink here, I'm doing fine. This game will continue. The temperature keeps rising. It's like the flaming mountain outside. Even today, due to the extreme heat, even the small refrigerator has stopped working. We can't wait any longer. We must move to the air raid shelter as soon as possible. Otherwise, if we suffer heat stroke and lose consciousness one day, there won't even be time to regret it. In the afternoon, screams came from the community square. It was Sun Jingming stepping on a woman. Upon closer inspection, that person was actually Sun Jiai. I opened the surveillance feed and saw Sun Hao lying on the ground, no longer breathing. In just a short moment, Sun Jingming and his wife returned. Watching closely, the burns on Sun Jiai's body were even more severe. Sun Jingming grabbed a knife from the kitchen, a strange smile hanging on his face. He actually intended to kill Sun Jiai, using her to quench his thirst. At that moment, Sun Jiai looked expressionlessly at the camera. Wanwan, you must be feeling smug, huh? Don't worry, I'll come for you soon. Just then, Zhang Shufan, desperate to protect her daughter, smashed Sun Jingming to death with a chair. Now that the sun has set, the scorching heat has subsided slightly. I decided to leave this place tonight. Sun Jiai is no longer normal. You can never predict what a mad person is capable of. At night, the building across from me suddenly became chaotic. Checking the group chat, I learned it was Sun Jiai and that group from the city. They were going door to door, searching for me. At that moment, I had no time to think and left the community. The air raid shelter was hidden under a carpet. As soon as I lifted the entrance, a cool breeze rushed upward. It wasn't until I lay on the sofa that I still felt a sense of unreality. The small nightlight beside me emitted a faint, warm glow. I don't know how much time passed, but my phone suddenly vibrated. The intruders have been repelled. Also, thank you for your supplies. The message was from my neighbor, the man who gave me a bottle of water. When I moved into my new home that day, I hadn't used much of my stockpiled supplies, and I wasn't willing to let that city group take them. So, when I left the community, I privately messaged my neighbor through the owner's group chat and gave him all my supplies. It was also a way to repay his kindness with that bottle of water. The man was clever. He knew he couldn't protect so many supplies alone. So he teamed up with all the survivors in this building to fight against that city group. Just as I was about to turn off my phone, I noticed he had sent me another message. This apocalyptic heat will end one day. Keep living well. I glanced at the supplies covering hundreds of square meters, and my mood lightened. I replied, you too. 2 months later, the apocalyptic heat still showed no signs of ending. Half a month ago, we could occasionally see government airdrop supplies. Those survivors would fight fiercely over a bit of food, engaging in brutal battles. After every airdrop, the scene would always be left with a few corpses. Then, at some point, they would vanish without a trace. Sometimes I wonder, can those who survive this cruel environment still be considered human? But I have no standing to judge them, because I know very well that if I hadn't had a second chance, I might be faring even worse than them. Time passes slowly. One day, I suddenly realized that this apocalyptic heat had already lasted half a year. In these 6 months, not a single drop of rain has fallen. The internet has long been cut off. Now, the only way to receive news from the outside is the radio on the table. But what I didn't expect was that Changlin was still alive, and by chance, he came to the villa where I was staying. He was clutching his arm, clearly severely injured. Blood had stained his arm red. I thought with some irony, so even someone like him bleeds red. After waiting another half hour, and carefully scouting the situation around the villa, I finally stepped out of the air raid shelter. When he saw me, he was like a frozen fish, letting out a faint cry for help. Remembering the days and nights of torment he caused me in my past life, I suppressed my anger and asked him about Sun Jai. What happened to her in the end? Changlin stared at me and asked if, after telling me, I would give him some water. I nodded. According to him, Sun Jai died from infection due to severe burns all over her body. As for Zhang Shufan, she was eaten by him and Sun Jai, and it was Sun Jai who personally did it. I was somewhat shocked. I didn't expect her to be so ruthless, capable of even killing her own mother. Changlin asked if I could give him the water now. Expressionless, I pulled out a knife. I successfully saw the fear on his face. Wan, everything before was orchestrated by Sun Jai. It had nothing to do with me. So you did recognize me? Nothing to do with you? You were clearly just as complicit. I suddenly had an idea. To show mercy to such scum wouldn't be worth shedding blood over. At this point, Changlin had no strength left to resist. I dragged him outside the villa. I watched as, under the scorching sun, he quickly stopped breathing. A few more months passed. Although it still hadn't rained, the temperature had dropped below 50 degrees Celsius. This was a good sign. As long as the temperature kept decreasing, one day we could return to a normal life. I wasn't short on supplies, and the air raid shelter was quite cool. The only downside was that it was a bit boring. While I was eating a popsicle, on the radio, an exciting piece of news came through. Half an hour ago, after a year, thick clouds rarely appeared in the sky above the city, followed by heavy rain. As the temperature gradually dropped, good news of rainfall came from all over the country. Everything was slowly returning to how it was before the apocalypse. One day after the apocalyptic heat ended, I received a call from the property management of my old community. They severely damaged during the apocalyptic heat and needed to be rebuilt. As the sole heir of my foster parents, they asked me to negotiate the subsequent compensation. I was silent for a long time. I told them I wasn't short on money, since the money I won from the lottery was more than enough for me to live on for a lifetime. Moreover, I really didn't want to have any connection with that family anymore. I chose to give up my inheritance. As for the subsequent issues, they could handle them on their own. No need to notify me anymore. After hanging up the phone, a smile curled at the corners of my mouth. The apocalyptic heat was over, and my life was just beginning.